This is Andrew for The Chosen Prime with a video review of Takara Tomy's Masterpiece Grapple MP-35. Grapple here is a extensive retool of Masterpiece Inferno. Just like Inferno, you can see that here's his box. It's the same size. That contains Grapple here in his vehicle mode. Just like Inferno, Grapple here does come with a bunch of different accessories. Now I'll go into more detail in a little bit, but he comes with his grapple arm, a separate grapple arm for the crane, a bucket for the crane, a cartoon accurate robot mode chest, a chromed version of his cannon arm, a tool, his pistol, a gray helmet that matches some of the episodes. Again, I'll show that in a little bit. 3 different faces, as well as his solar tower, which is kind of from that one main G1 episode that Grapple was part of. He comes with a nice set of instructions, as usual. Collector's card, as well as this nice little piece of paper here that's printed, which are the blueprints for the solar tower from that one episode, and you can actually hold these. So let's go ahead and take a look at this kind of extensive retool of Inferno here, Grapple in his crane mode. Taking a closer look here at Grapple in his truck mode, you can see that he has the same base Fuso chassis that Masterpiece Inferno had. There are some slight differences between the two Masterpiece figures, and I'll get to those a little bit later when we do some comparisons, but you can see here it's a very nice looking version of Masterpiece Grapple here in his crane mode. His boom arm here can lift up. It's got a piston piece here that can lift up about that far. There's actually several different pieces and a bit stiff, but if you'd like, you can extend the arm, the crane arm, you can collapse it that far. That's about the max it goes. You do have ability to bend it here, but mostly due to transformation, you can actually bend the arm there if you'd want. Same thing with the front here. Again, those are mostly due to transformation. And then here on the base claw, the claw does rotate up and down here. It does not, the overall crane arm does not rotate because it is kind of fixed and locked into place here, so there's no side-to-side movement on the crane arm. Much like the Masterpiece Inferno, he does have these side kind of support structures here that you can pull out and pull down to have him have supports, and you can have those on both sides. Again, nice little bits of truck detail. As far as alternatives for his kind of hook here, his crane arm, you do have different alternatives. So to switch it out, this piece here is just keyed and slides out of this front part here. So we can take things like this grapple arm here and slide it into place. And then he's got his grapple that he used in one of his episodes. As far as articulation on the grapple, there's a hinge at this point, and then there's no bending point here. This is fixed, but you can close these in and open them up quite wide, and then it does rotate. So you do get quite a lot of options as far as kind of posing and positioning the grapple arm if you like. Alternatively, if you slide this piece out, he does come with this kind of bucket piece, which does have a hinge that can lift up and down as well as rotate. And so if you'd like, you have this to be able to kind of have him lift and kind of shovel pieces. Finally, if you'd like, you can take his robot mode pistol here, and much like Inferno, there's a spot here in the underside here. It's kind of hard to see here on video, but there's a little hole here on this leg over there that matches the kind of the butt of the gun here, the bottom of the gun. And it's just a matter of kind of getting the gun kind of placed into this spot, and then we can lock it down, and you can store his weapon there in his crane mode. Overall, very nice version of Masterpiece Grapple here. Very nice little bit of retooling here to make MP-35. So let's go ahead and take a look at his transformation. Transforming Grapple here is a little bit more complicated than it is for Inferno, but it is still a nice, clean Takara Tomy transformation. We begin by collapsing his crane arm here. Do note that only the default crane arm will collapse fully into his back when he's transforming in robot mode. The other ones you'll have to take off, but this one you can leave on. So start by pivoting it on this hinge, collapsing it as far as that far. Come to the underside here. These 2 flaps will loosen, and you can untab this from there. You can see these are actually 2 separate parts. We want to, similarly to Inferno, pull these pieces out. Do note that I have not been able to, while he does have his cannon arm in this hand, you have to change it back to robot mode in order to have it fit. There's not as much free space here for when he's transformed. We want to free the arms like that. Come to these little pieces here like they were on Inferno, fold them in on each side. Unlock the wheels, similar to Inferno, and kind of flare them out so that we can take the entire arms here and kind of get them out and above this crane piece here. One thing to note when you're transferring a grapple here back and forth, this part of the crane arm here actually has tabs that match parts of the legs. So we actually want to take the legs here and split it, and you can see these little tabs here, here that fit slots on the legs. So just remember that when you're transferring him back. But much like Inferno, we come to this flap up here. I'm going to flip this back. Do note that you can plug the gun here in vehicle mode if you'd like. But we take the this piece, lift his head up, come to the underside here. There's this little flap here that normally is folded in. We want to fold it out. Rotate the head fully around. Come to these crest part right here. It'll fold back, kind of filling out his head. Want to come to his shoulders here and lift this panel up so that we can rotate the arms in just like we did for Inferno. And then much like Inferno, take this piece, rotate at that hinge, hinge it up, and then the arm here will lock into place like that. And do that on the other side. Lift this panel, spin it around, take the arm, rotate it, and then fold it up and peg it in. And I will note it felt like Grapple here is a little bit stiffer overall than Inferno was to transform the first time. So he may loosen up over time, but do be a bit careful because he is a bit stiffer overall. Much like Inferno, we want to take his legs here and rotate them 90 degrees. So you see the backside, take these little flaps, fold them backwards, and then these little tire pieces will fold down on top of themselves. We can take the torso now and hinge it up and down, kind of like we do for Inferno. Now it's time to collapse his crane here. We want to flip out these other panels here on each side, spin this, and now again, this is very stiff the very first time you do it, but this here hinges downwards. And this will all accordion in with this piece in, accordion into his back. Kind of locking mostly into place. The final piece that actually locks it all together is this piece on his head here, that if you sandwich down and kind of push it all together, his backpack does collapse. His tires don't go as high up as they do on Inferno. They just peg, there's a peg here on each one of his hips that we want to peg the tires into. There is a slot on each one. Just a matter of getting it lined up so that they will lock into place. Looking at the legs, here you can see how the back of the crane mode looks, and here's how all these pieces kind of look overall. And so, just like Inferno, we want to come to this front leg panel and lift it out a little bit so you have room to take the foot, and it will ratchet downwards if you move this out of the way. Come to all of this. This will all kind of extend and kind of collapse on itself. So if we look, this piece kind of matches this area here. So we want to just kind of have it flatten like this, and this piece will flatten, and you can see how this all transformed into that. Like Inferno, close this flap, close that flap, come to the leg here. This panel here will extend out and accordion down. And then we push that little thigh piece out, and we've got this one done. So we'll do this other side a little bit slower. So make sure that you've lifted this to the side, lifted this kind of leg panel, shin panel out, ratchet the foot, take this piece, and you want to rotate that out and kind of have it so this pushes in, locks into place, and that will lock down. The foot panel here will close, this back panel will close, and then accordion down to your leg. So again, a little bit more complicated than Inferno, but using the same overall mechanisms here. Taking a closer look here at Grapple in his robot mode, you can see overall his look and build is very similar to Masterpiece Inferno. All of that crane arm all sandwiched and hides into his back there very well. Overall, again, the legs are similar, a little bit more details that are different, and we'll get to those comparisons in a little bit. This is a nice glossy kind of warm yellow throughout. Some of it is just plastic, but most of it is paint, so it's a nice glossy yellow throughout. They've done a good job kind of making so that the paint is pretty even across. His articulation is very similar to Inferno. Ratcheted arms that can rotate all the way around, ratcheted outwards, bicep swivel. His elbows can bend quite a bit. The hands can rotate. His head box here can rotate side to side. The head inside is actually on a ball joint, so you can pose it separately. Mostly due to the face change gimmick, it does actually lift out on a hinge, and we'll get to the faces just in a second. He doesn't really have a waist swivel, and that's mostly due to all of this parts here for the back. What he does have as an alternative is an ab crunch. And so you can actually use the ab crunch to lift him forward and rotate him. Or if you'd like, you can actually move these tires, unpeg them from their spots, lift them up, and you do get a little bit of movement to move them side to side. His legs are ratcheted forward and back. Nice ratcheted knees. They ratchet outwards, nice bits there. Really nice ankle articulation side to side, as well as a little bit forward and back. Again, very nice. As far as his accessories, he does come with his, a pistol here, and he can hold it in either hand. It's a same kind of peg mechanism found on almost all official Masterpiece Transformers. Just fit it in, peg it in, close his fingers. Now by default, Grapple comes packaged with both his hands displayed, but in the animation, he actually had a cannon hand on his left arm, which is actually opposite of what is on Inferno. And so, just like Inferno, he's got a spot here where we open up this panel, and there is the cannon. We can fold out and then flip the fist in, close up the panel here. And we've got the animation version of his cannon. Again, he only has it on his left arm, not on his right, and by default it's gray. In some of the animation episodes, he had a gray hand, sometimes he had a white hand, and then of course the toy had a chromed hand. So if you want to, you can actually unpeg this and plug it on the chrome one, and so you can have a chromed version of his cannon arm if you want to. Similarly, if you want to go more animation accurate, much like Inferno, we can come to this panel here, this lower panel of the truck, and you can see that it just unpegs, and we can put the version of his chest here that's missing the chrome. And unlike Inferno, there actually is no chrome once you've done this on this version of Grapple, which is nice. The other main accessory he comes with is the little solar tower that he built in the G1 episode. It's nicely sculpted and painted. These little panels here can open up. This little ball piece here actually pegs in and pegs out nice and securely and spins. Nice little bit. What's interesting about this is there's this tab here on this piece, and you normally would think it would fit into the palm, in a palm, but you actually use the tab on his wrist on the outside here to peg it in. And so if we get it sandwiched in there, that's how he's able to kind of hold and display the solar tower here in this hand. It's a nice solution to have him be able to hold this piece. The other little mini tool he comes with is when he was working on this on a desk, he had this little kind of laser scalpel thing. There is a tab here, but it doesn't tab in. That tab's not for when it's on his hand here. What you're supposed to do is just kind of get the fingers kind of just open a little bit, and then sandwich this in here such that it just kind of rests in his fingers like that. It does not peg in as far as I can tell. What that peg is designed there for is if we open this up, there's a peg hole here that we can actually take this little tool here, and that's where the peg comes into play to peg into this part on his arm, which again is pretty tricky because this is just such a small little piece. But then the piece fits in there, and then you can keep it stored in his hand there, similar to the little wrist communicators that Inferno had. As far as alternate faces here, we can take his helmet here, and if we extend the head by kind of pulling this forward, there again is the default kind of painted ears and default kind of face, neutral. So we come here, we can pull forward on this helmet, and we can actually replace it with the gray one. And in some episodes, it was kind of painted like this, where it was the gray helmet from the toy with yellow ears. So it's an option for you if you like. But then he does come with a total of 4 faces. So if we take this helmet, and we'll slide it off. The faces work like Inferno. We just unpeg them from there. So one of the alternate faces is one that's got a bit more these lines on his cheeks. It's more kind of toy accurate, a little bit less animation accurate, but still stoic. And we can go ahead, and he's got 2 different kind of open mouth faces. One where he's smiling, which is a nice change for Inferno. Very nice. And then his final face that he comes with here is his kind of yelling face. All really well done, all kind of nice, emotive facial expressions here for Grapple. Very cool figure, just enough different from Inferno to kind of make him stand out as a really nice version of Grapple that kind of fits both tune and toy aesthetics. As far as posability for Masterpiece Grapple here, again, he is kind of limited with his waist rotation due to that backpack, but the ab crunch lets him get some really nice poses. So you can get some nice action shots and stances here with that ab crunch and the head piece that he is. Quite posable, still nice. Again, you can get some nice dynamic poses from Masterpiece Grapple here. Very solid figure here from Takara Tomy. So let's go ahead and take a look at some Robo comparisons for this guy. Comparing Masterpiece Inferno and Masterpiece Grapple, you can see they are roughly the same overall figure. There are some base differences, of course, some more detail here on the legs of Grapple than it is on Inferno. Flaps are a little bit different. Their hands, which ones are cannon hands, are different. Their weapons are actually different, and of course their heads and the boxes and everything are a little bit different. Just like Inferno, Grapple here is about 8.5 inches to the top of the box part of his head here, and you can see little kind of overall differences here, like in the arms, the size of the legs, the backs here. Very clean. Again, awesome transformation to hide both the crane and the ladder within the Robo torso between these two guys. Just really nice engineering for these Masterpiece Transformers. Comparing the truck modes of Inferno and Grapple, you can see that they are, again, pretty much the same. The fronts here are exactly the same front cab. Only slight differences along the sides here. Where Inferno's got this hose, there's some detail here on Grapple, along with some more paint. Again, a little bit different here in the back due to how the ladder and the crane work. As far as the ladder and the crane, between the two of them, Inferno here, his crane can ratchet up that far, whereas Grapple can only lift about that far due to this piston here. And then as far as the overall length here of the 2 ladders and crane arms, you can see that that's their full extension. But very nice looking versions here of Inferno and Grapple. Comparing MP-35 with some other official Masterpiece figures as well as unofficial. Here we've got, of course, MP-10 Optimus Prime, we've got MP Ironhide, and here we've got Make Toys Downbeat, which is their version of Masterpiece Jazz. And just like Inferno before, you can see how well Grapple kind of scales here with other official figures. Nice, larger scaled version of Masterpiece Autobot. And, you know, to be expected from a Takara Tomy piece, he just looks great amongst other official pieces, as well as, you know, smaller pieces like here, like Downbeat. and vehicle mode comparisons. And you can see how well Grapple here looks alongside his other Autobot brethren, both official and unofficial. How he scales well with Prime, Ironhide, and Downbeat here. Just really nice looking version of Grapple here, this official one from Takara Tomy. Comparing Masterpiece Grapple to one of the main third-party grapples, this is Ocular Max's Girder, or their take on a Masterpiece Grapple. You can see that their version is a little bit more accurate to the kind of toy aesthetic, a little bit more unique overall, less kind of tune. He is a little bit taller overall, but he's missing kind of this animation accurate kind of headpiece, more of just a redeco of their version of Inferno called Backdraft, but you do get the crane arm. And again, just a little bit more detail here on Girder on the right, but you know, you do get a more accurate grapple with the one on the left. Other benefits, of course, if you want to go third party, is that this one is a bit heavier. There's some die casts in the feet. You do get a little bit more play as far as finger articulation. You can move this cannon arm to either side. Both of them can be hands or cannons. And just, you know, it's up to you kind of which one you want. You are still limited on Girder here to rotation due to the backpack. But here you can see that they're roughly the same nice versions of Masterpiece Grapple. Vehicle mode comparisons. You can see here that they look essentially the same here in their vehicle modes. Both very nice looking versions of Grapple. I will say that Masterpiece Grapple, the official one, is about, you know, half an inch longer overall, but then here you can see the full extensions of the boom arms and how much longer the one on Girder is as far as extension than on Grapple. And then Grapple, his boom can only lift that far with the piston, but this one without the you know, the actual piston can lift up pretty much straight up 90 degrees or even further. And then the other benefit you get with Girder is that it can actually rotate, unlike the official one from Masterpiece. And you do get a little bit more overall detail here on Girder as far as kind of real world or toy kind of look across the two figures here in their truck modes. Some final thoughts here for Takara Tomy's MP-35 Masterpiece Grapple. I think this is yet another excellent release from the company as an official Masterpiece figure. It takes some of the stuff that was built off of Masterpiece Inferno and kind of adds some nice new touches to make it so that we have this nice toy and tune accurate version of Grapple here. And I think this version of Masterpiece Grapple, the official one here, is actually a little bit better and my favorite compared to the currently available versions of Grapple, whether that's Ocular Max's Girder, which you saw earlier, or Make Toys Wrestle. I think this this version of Masterpiece Grapple here kind of matches both the toy aesthetic with nice bits of chrome and now leg detail here on the legs to kind of make it stand out, as well as tune accurate, where you can get rid of all the chrome here on this version of Grapple. And so again, this is a nice, excellent release. It's fun to transform, nice and complex. It's not just a straight repaint and retool of Inferno. And so it's a really nice package and kind of fits whatever kind of Masterpiece Autobot collection you have. One of the additional pieces that Masterpiece Grapple here will come with from the Chosen Prime is a little kind of die-cast Ultra Magnus. I don't have that at the time of this release, but if you do order it from the Chosen Prime, you will get that little figure, which will be coming in the next couple days. So if you want to add you know, Grapple here to your Masterpiece collection or Masterpiece Inferno, they are currently available from the Chosen Prime, so take care.